Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday evening to you all. Hope you guys are staying warm, staying safe out there, and having yourselves a great evening, a great night, and a great week so far as we're about to close it off, about to make it into a weekend. So in this video, we're really going to focus specifically on Lake Erie and the Ontario area, Buffalo, Watertown. Really talk about Buffalo Point South and what's likely going to be a crippling lake effect snow event. Certain areas south of Buffalo and in between Erie and Buffalo have already picked up over a foot of snow just basically over the last 24 hours. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how much more snow is expected, especially over the next 24 hours. This is a big event, guys, but I can tell you, I'm not a professional. I'm not. You know me, guys. I'm just an enthusiast, but I certainly have some disagreements a little bit with what the National Weather Service is thinking for the immediate Buffalo area. And I'm about to talk about that here in a second. But remember, I'm a guy sitting here in South Carolina, and I don't live in Buffalo. I don't live around the lake effect snow areas. So those guys are the professionals for that area. So if they say something, certainly respect what they say more than I am. But I'm going to give, like always, I don't like to just jump on here and give you show you model information and tell you what a bunch of models are showing. I like to give my own spin, my own take to it. So that's what we're going to do here. If you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. Appreciate the steady growth over the last, I would say, 10 days or so. I know that for a huge portion of my audience is certainly not in lake effect snow areas, but I appreciate any new viewers from that area tuning in. And thank you all for definitely supporting me by subscribing, things like that. Like the video if you haven't. And if you guys got anything I can pray about, pray over. As always, put that in the comments below so I can pray over it and so others can do so too. Let's get rocking here. So we'll start it off by looking at this. Hopefully it's coming in pretty clear on your screen. If it isn't, make sure it's in 1080. But check it out. Buffalo forecasted for 48 to 60 inches of snow. In feet, that is 4 to 5 feet of snow, guys. That is a crippling, paralyzing snowstorm that's really going to crank up really right now, between now and really over the next, in fact, this is all the way till 1 p.m. Sunday. A lot of people are wondering about the Buffalo-Cleveland game, NFL football. It has actually been moved to Detroit, but actually, most likely there probably wouldn't have been really much snow actually falling in that game if they would have played in Buffalo, but the rest of the surrounding areas of the stadium would probably get absolutely buried with snow, especially with the stadium, I believe, being in the south end of Buffalo. And basically, the further south you go of Buffalo, the more snow you get. So, National Weather Service thinks 48 to 60 inches. Now, I'm making this update at 7:09 p.m. Eastern Time. This could upgrade, but I can tell you, I think the immediate Buffalo area is going to drop down some. I think the epicenter is going to be just south of Buffalo. I really do, guys. And I'm about to show you why, and we're going to go over some model information. But I don't know. I would have kept it my own non-professional take. I would have kept it probably around 36 inches or so in Buffalo, around 2 to 3 feet, to be perfectly honest with you guys. But watch Buffalo turn around and get 5 feet of snow, and I'm totally wrong. But there's areas like, Orchard Park, Hamburg, just south of Buffalo. And when I say just south, I literally, I mean, it's, 30 minutes south of Buffalo. Those areas, that little bit of difference could get absolutely hammered with that 48 to 60 inches of snow. When I tell you this is going to be a narrow, intense band, I mean it, guys. You could be 10 miles one direction and then 10 miles the other. And you could happen to be in that area that's getting 4 to 5 inch per hour rates, guys. It's a serious deal. And then not to neglect the Watertown points north area up here in Clayton, New York. Watertown really points north. Really could get 3 to 4 feet of snow. Certainly likely at this point. There's going to be a big time mega band up here too. That's just not getting talked about as much, but it's almost just as intense as this one that's going to set off Lake Erie. So let's talk about what is going on right now. So this is, like I said, literally the radar right now. Big blast of snow about to move into Buffalo as I speak. And a lot of people in Buffalo are going to think, well, here's the beginning of the event. Technically it is. But there's a chance that this big band, and by the way, look at this little lightning bolt that shows up right here and then fades away. That is thunder snow that was over Lake Erie. Pretty incredible to see, and we're going to see this a lot. But this band of snow is going to blast into the Buffalo area, probably dump a quick several inches of snow. And then there's a chance that it pivots and kind of turns back south and starts blasting this area right here overnight. But we'll see. Could pivot north, could pivot south. We got to see what happens here. These lake effect snow bands are kind of funky. So, and you guys know this up here, you know. And I can tell you, this area right down here already picked up several inches of snow. Certain areas already over a foot of snow, even all the way up here. So this is heavy snow. If you actually look at Super Res right here, my bad, I clicked the wrong thing. This really shows the intensity of the precipitation. And when you start to see yellows and oranges, guys, I mean, think of that. If we were to translate snow to rain, that would be moderate to heavy rainfall. You flip it to snow. When I tell you it's going to be an abrupt shift from nothing to heavy snow, I mean it. Buffalo right here, and this is right now, as I'm making this video. By the time I'm done with this video, this will be moving through Buffalo already. But you're going to go from nothing to heavy snow, just like that. And that's what's happening in Orchard Park. And this band moving through right now, is likely dropping probably 2 to 3 inch per hour rates. This is all snow. I know it shows up as green, but this is snow. So, I mean, this is starting right now, but we watch to see if this band kind of repositions itself and kind of blasts kind of west to east in this area right here. It really hits Hamburg, Orchard Park area pretty hard right here. So we'll see how this happens overnight. So let's go on and look at the HRRR model and how this can unfold. We'll start this off around right now. And I feel like the radar is doing pretty decent, relatively speaking here. And we'll see how this unfolds. Let's get this into motion here. Computer having some issues. And we'll get this moving. Like I said, this initial blast of heavy snow moves even north of Buffalo. This moves through, and then all of a sudden, the band starts to position itself where it wants to be for a period of time. We're getting into around the midnight time frame, and you see these darker blues right here. This is where the thunder snows can pop up here. Buffalo right into here, right kind of in this area. But look at the band. It's just south of Buffalo in the middle of the night. So, but in Buffalo, if we were basing off what the HRRR model is going to do, just this one model, this would keep the heaviest intense band just south or in the southern suburbs of Buffalo. And when I tell you, you know, it'll be an abrupt cutoff wherever this band sets up. Now, like these lake effect snow bands do, it'll pivot north to south. And, you know, you might get a brief burst of heavy snow into Buffalo, and then it tampers off. So this is over the next just 18 hours. This takes us all the way out to 11 a.m. tomorrow. And obviously the snow band's still going crazy. If we look over the next 18 hours, latest HRRR model, Buffalo right into here, this is potentially how much snow can fall just over the next 18 hours. And this little color right here, where it fades to pink, then to white, then almost another pinkish color into here, guys, that is, if you look down here, over 2 feet of snow in an 18-hour period. So that means you're getting over 1 inch per hour rates. Just 1 inch per hour rates is heavy snow enough. But when you start to get a 2, 3, 4 inch per hour rates, which is what we're going to see, this is intense. This isn't just the duration of the entire snow event. This is over the next 18 hours, guys. Just 18 hours. But if you notice, Buffalo right into here, there is a mean cutoff right here. Where, you know, if you live in the immediate Buffalo area or just north of Buffalo, maybe just a few inches of snow. Really, especially in the northern areas of Buffalo, based off the HRRR model. Now, you look at the National Weather Service forecast between now and the next 18 hours. It has the snow a little bit deep, a little bit more so into the Buffalo area where it wants to drop as much as 18 to 24 inches of snow over just the next, this would be the next 18 to 20 hours. And then obviously, it's just south of Buffalo, an epicenter right here where you could get around 2 feet of snow just in the next 18 hours, guys, 18 hours. So, pretty incredible to see, you know, and, you know, if we look at the entire duration of the event, let's go all the way out here, and we do not have this. Let's make sure we got this in the right kind of time frame. Here we go. Entire duration of the event, which takes us out to, let's go all the way out to Sunday morning. I can already tell you that Buffalo has kind of dropped from the previous runs. This is over the next, this takes us through Sunday evening. So Sunday evening, Buffalo in here. But listen, I mean, it still shows 40 inches plus of snow in Buffalo and then an area points south. I mean, guys, that's around 3.5 feet of snow. So still a ton of snow. If you were to look at the latest HRRR model that takes us through the next 48 hours, right? So this is through 48 hours. Buffalo right in here, just 48 hours, and the event is not done. It's got probably another 24 hours left. Look at this. I mean, these colors are off the charts here. This is getting into the 40-plus inch frame. This is about 4 feet of snow just south of Buffalo from the latest long-range HRRR model, which, like I said, takes us between now and about midday Saturday. But look, I mean, in Buffalo, it only drops, I would say, a foot to a foot and a half of snow in this area. So that's what the HRRR model is showing, which is nothing compared to what the National Weather Service is showing. Now, if you were to look at, let's just say, the European, right? Let's look at the latest 12Z European through the entire duration of the event. Just about, the European is just funky. It doesn't want to drop near as much snow as what everything's showing. So the European is off its rocks here. You look at the latest GFS, the global models, GFS European, just don't like the idea of this being some event like the short-range models in the National Weather Service is showing. So it's hard to take this very serious. It has an epicenter of about 25 inches of snow or so. If you look at the National Blend of All models, always a great model to look at through about the duration of the event. Buffalo right in here, like I said, only wants to drop about a foot and a half of snow on Buffalo. Just south, you start to get into that 3 to 4 foot area. Do I think someone's going to squeeze out 5 feet of snow? I think it's possible. That's 60 inches of snow. I certainly think it's possible. I really think the highest total that's probably going to show up is anywhere from, I would say, 48 to 55 inches. I think that'll be the range we watch for. That's my opinion. That's my take. Not sure if that's exactly what's going to happen. But if we were to look at the HRRR model, latest long range through the next 48 hours, like I said, we already showed part of this that takes us through 18 hours. Heavy band sets up. The HRRR model has just that strong cutoff over Buffalo. But, you know, these areas right into here, guys, are getting blasted. But there's going to be a pretty heavy epicenter inside these bands. I mean, these bands are already small enough, right? So they're very narrow, you know, maybe 60 to 80 miles wide at most. So this is through the next 48 hours. I mean, it pivots south, pivots back north. I do think there's going to be a period Saturday where Buffalo does get absolutely hammered. In fact, I would argue that Saturday might be the biggest day for Buffalo, especially Saturday morning. But we'll see what happens. I think this will kind of buffer a little bit. You look at the severity, the winter storm severity index, Buffalo, extreme impacts, the highest it can go. This will disrupt your daily life. This is a crippling, paralyzing winter storm for this area, no doubt. Same situation north of Watertown. I'm not trying to leave you guys out because this band is going to be pretty intense on its own. Excuse me. In fact, you go up here to the HRRR model with this model, same energy flies across Lake Erie into Lake Lake Ontario, and then starts blasting sometime in the middle of the night, Friday night, these areas right up here north of Watertown, and then the band sets up, wiggles around, and then really positions itself north of Watertown and starts blasting these two northern counties up here of New York State big time with a heavy, heavy band of snow that's just going to, I would argue this band is not going to wiggle around as much. Once it kind of comes set in stone, it's just going to kind of do its thing. It'll wiggle a little bit at the end, and I think this is going to drop maybe heavier snow more quickly. But we'll see what happens. But as far as snow up here over the HRRR model over the next just between now and I would say, and this will probably be the majority of the event because I think it cuts off around Saturday up here. But this between now and around Saturday early afternoon, there's a 44-incher showing up here, you know, almost 4 feet of snow. And I really think there'll be a strong cutoff just north of Watertown. But these areas are going to get hammered, guys. You look at the National Weather Service forecast for this region, and really an area north of Watertown really picks up 3 to 4 feet of snow. So pretty incredible to see. It really is, guys. So please stay safe up here. Hope I explained it enough. Huge band of snow working its way into Buffalo right now. It's going to drop several inches of snow, I think, very quickly. And this is just it's just a wall of snow. It really is. So I really want to talk about this really quickly. The Thanksgiving forecast is a tricky one. We'll take a look at the GFS. We're not going to stay on this long. We're getting into next Wednesday morning. We're getting into next Thursday, Thanksgiving morning. There could be a system around. There are going to be two pieces of energy, one associated with the northern jet and then one associated with the southern jet potentially. But models just don't agree that these are going to combine together. Now, I really think getting into Black Friday, next Friday, I really think there's going to be the possibility for a big system around. Is it going to be a big wintry system? Is it going to be severe weather? What is it going to do? You know, the latest GFS wants this weird kind of bowling ball, cut off, upper level, low kind of setup. But it's hard for me to get specific on this because there's just not consistency. But this would be a pretty big system that would start off with mainly rain and then switches to a pretty chilly few days at the end of Thanksgiving weekend. European is just not consistent with the GFS. We get into Thanksgiving. I can tell you on the European, Thanksgiving is really dry for a lot of folks. But it shows a system kind of coming out the Gulf. You got energy up here, you got energy down here, but they're not connecting. A couple Euros ago, it actually showed a winter storm for certain areas, but these two pieces of energy just not phasing together. So this would, keep us at a relatively quiet Thanksgiving Friday, and then next weekend will be quiet too. But it does show some pretty cold air dropping down into the central and eastern U.S., but that's 240 hours out, very hard to take serious. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please, if you live up in that area, let me know what you're seeing. It's not going to be easy to measure snow, especially once it gets really heavy out there, but definitely stay safe. Let me know what y'all are seeing. Very interesting. One of these days, I'm going to go up here and chase one of these lake effect snow events, but they normally last 3 or 4 days, and it's really hard to be away from the family that long. So, and obviously to take off work that long. But God bless all y'all. Stay safe, and I'll be with you guys in the morning.